Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm not feeling that great today. Just kind of all over the place. But I did want to give you guys at least a little video today, nothing too impressive. I released a video earlier today. It was supposed to be released later in the week. Um, but I published my coming out story and I hope it's something you guys will enjoy. With that being said, there is a video I plan on releasing tomorrow morning. Maybe it'll probably be, let's be honest here, it'll probably be closer to the afternoon regardless. That video is going to be on the delicate nature of peace and balance. And I'm excited to release that one. What have you guys thought of my recent videos on the Star Wars universe and how that relates to our world? What have you guys thought about, people's different perspectives and opinions? Do you like more of the political stuff? I don't know. Put your thoughts down below. I'd be interested to hear it. But something I've decided recently is just kind of just as a basis for my content. I think that, you know, everyone has a different perspective and a different story to tell. And as much as I love talking about mental health and businesses and construction, I can only do so many videos of those. And I think for the foreseeable future, I'll have to even strip down from my construction Sundays down to even, once a month, just because there's not enough content to go around on those topics. Um, I'd like to think I'm intelligent, but I don't know everything. And so I want to make sure that people are getting the resources they need. So I'll probably release an episode on Construction Monthly. And if I do that at all, it may just go away entirely. Who's to say, right? YouTube is an interesting place, and you want to stick with what works, and I want to be successful. I think anyone who creates content or, creates a place where they can share their stories or their ideas, they want to be successful in that field. One thing in mind for the future is that my channel may focus primarily on the LGBT community going forward as well. A lot of my opinions and beliefs seem to be under attack, whether it's the Christian nationalists or people that have a more conservative point of view. It seems like anything I believe in and hold dear to my heart are not welcome. And so I kind of want to be, I don't want to be rude and I don't want to be callous. And everyone has a different opinion. And let's be real here. In order to win, at least in modern politics, right, you have to alienate half the country, it seems like, which is unfortunate. I wish there was more balance. But with that being said, I really want to focus on the things that are impacting me every day instead of just making content to make content, if you know what I mean. I love Star Wars, don't get me wrong, and I love that I can create a space where we can have a conversation about how Star Wars has shaped our modern culture and things like that. I think that's phenomenal. But there's other things that are slightly concerning to me, and I think those are more important than Star Wars, unfortunately, right now. I'm not even excited for Andor Season 2. I couldn't really get into Andor, don't get me wrong. I'm sure it's great. It had a high budget, and it's one of the best supposed shows of all time. Whether or not that's true, I can't say. I might go back and try and watch Andor over the coming days to try and get an opinion, because I know the new season is dropping relatively soon. And a lot of the Star Wars fanboys could probably correct me if I'm wrong on that. However, I do want to address one thing right here in closing on this short little video here. Everyone has a different perspective, and I've said that so many times in all of my videos, and probably more in this video than others. But I think that the way our culture is going isn't great, and there's a little bit of something for everyone. And when it comes to Star Wars as a whole, the cool thing about that universe is it's incredibly diverse. And, you know, a lot of people are so concerned about the LGBT community. Um, I did a breakdown in my gay construction worker video about how people have a tendency to dwell on the past, right? And they make it seem like it was better than it actually was. And I look at how things are changing, and it's almost like we're going back in time. About 80% of the globe says that they're straight, and then 20% are left up in the air. 10% would not answer whether they were, you know, a part of the LGBT community or straight. But that last 10%, that makes up everybody from pansexual to gay, lesbian, bisexual, and even some of the smaller subgroups such as trans and, you know, even more obscure um, things like asexual and things like that, intersex. The fact of the matter is we've always existed. Gay people are always going to be around, and no amount of restriction on people's bodily autonomy or how people are able to live their lives is going to change that. It makes me sick to my stomach that people think that, you know, I am okay with gay people as long as they put up and shut up and conform. No, we have been putting up and shutting up to conform to your standards. I don't think it's right to demand anyone do what they don't want to do, right? It's a free country. You should be able to do whatever you want. However, I do believe enough is enough. We are here. We are here to share our experiences and stories just like you are with your children, your grandchildren, and your great-grandchildren. Don't we, gay men, lesbian women, bisexual men and women, transgender individuals, both men and women, deserve the same rights and privileges you guys have had for the last, I don't know, 5,000 years? I think we have really, really got to figure this out. The biggest reason why our system is falling apart is because people have stopped listening to one another. And I think that if you really want to get to know somebody, yeah, sexual orientation shouldn't matter that much. I agree. But the big deal about all of this is that when you restrict someone's rights on what they can and cannot do, I have a problem. I have a huge problem with that. And the state of Utah has banned pride flags and those types of things in classrooms and on government property. I think that is incredibly wrong. Representation matters. It doesn't mean it's getting shoved down your child's throat. People say, oh, well, we should have prayer in schools because we are a Christian nation. Maybe everyone in this country should be thinking about the future and what that holds for their families. But one thing is certain, I think no one has read that article. Fun fact, did you know Article 6 in the Constitution is one of the few constitutional articles that have never been amended? And that one specifically talks about discrimination and discrimination of religion. People have said that the LGBT community is a cult and therefore a religion. If you're going to use that logic, you really need to think hard about what you say next and be very careful about how you say it. Because if we are a religion, we deserve the same protections that the Catholics, the Baptists, and all of the other Christian organizations get. And they're not religions, they're organizations. Any company that turns a profit, you're a company, right? Well, religious organizations are the same way. They turn a profit. Your pastors make money on your tithing. The church that I grew up in makes money on its tithing. regardless of where it spends it, it still makes an earning. And so I think that you really need to understand what people are asking for when it comes to LGBTQ rights as a whole. It it really, really makes me sad. We had a huge opportunity to move forward, and we started getting more representation, and then people had enough. I don't know why. But if we're going to play this game of sexual things shouldn't be displayed, I think every single sexualized sitcom needs to be banned. I think that every stand-up comedian who talks about sexual things needs to be sequestered and silenced. If we're going to go this route, equality over the law, right? No, that's not how our country works. We all deserve the right to the pursuit of happiness, right? Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Anyone heard of that phrase? I think that at this point, just because of all of this that's going on, this is the direction the channel is going to go. I'm going to try and stay a little bit more positive. A lot of my videos recently have been quite negative, and tomorrow's video is going to be no exception to the previous videos, especially on the side of negativity. However, I do want to say that there are some silver linings. Like, just there's some wonderful things happening, right? Like, a good example of this is I believe it's the Senate. They're working on legislation to try and codify same-sex marriage into federal law. I know there's a lot of Christian nationalists that are against that. Don't know. I don't know how to tell you otherwise, but we exist and we deserve the same rights. We're not lesser than you because we are different than you or we believe different than you. We deserve the same rights. This rant is come to a close. I'm exhausted. I'm not feeling great. And so with that being said, I'm going to leave this video here and I'll catch you guys tomorrow.